Hey, what's good, people? We back for part 2. And we're gonna keep this thing cracking like the way we do, and we're gonna get the team up in here. You dig it? And I'm gonna send this link out right here. You know, let me go and type this in real quick. You know, send this joint out real quick. It will say you're gonna be back on the next one. We got Air back up in the building, up in there, representing one time over there. Yeah. So you know, it's been crazy. Like, you know, we got all this. This is what I want to know. Why do niggas act up on the holiday? Why is it always a bunch of motherfuckers getting shot up on the fucking holiday weekends? It's like a common practice.
Liquor and attention and proximity.
Well, I guess that, yeah. You want to elaborate on that?
It's like, if you notice around any holiday, it's always more violent because there's always like alcohol or drugs involved.
Yeah.
That's a good time.
Well, yeah. Yeah.
For those that can handle it.
Especially if good. Granny getting at work if she fuck up that potato salad. I'm just saying.
Speaking of that, why my mama fuck up the potato salad? I was like, because I've been waiting for some potato salad. I'll tell you something. I said, what? I called my mother Little Anita. I was like, Little Anita, what is going on with this potato salad? She said, I was trying to rush and do something. Meanwhile, she had good potato salad the day before, some baked beans and some barbecue brisket. But you gonna give me this shit.
What's wrong with the potato salad? What's wrong with no devil?
Well, sometimes my mother makes potato salad with mayonnaise, right? And I hate mayonnaise, but she generally makes it good when she makes it with mayonnaise. She uses the dill pickles and shit like that. Well, first of all, Sister Seaton forgot she put like two, not even a spoonful of dill pickles in there. It wasn't enough mustard. It just wasn't enough, a lot of shit. And she admitted that she was trying to make it quick. But she had made her and my nephew something the night before to my we ate good. What the fuck am I? Chopped liver? Like, what's going on?
No, it sounded like she had more time the day before.
She wasn't doing shit the day of. She just said, let me tell you what she said. She said, I just threw it together. I didn't even taste it or nothing. So this shit you give me, ma'am.
Oh, okay.
I gave it a thumbs down. I told her, I was like, this is not.
Oh, see, that's not right.
I want to tell y'all the way my mother makes her potato salad, but then it's like I'm gonna tell all the white people jokes, and I'll fight y'all over my mama.
So don't say it then, because if it's something bogus, I'm gonna say it.
No, but it sounds crazy, but she's always made it this way, and it is so fucking good. My mother uses apples in her potato salad.
What in the Karen is that shit? That's not potato salad. That is ambrosia or some shit like that. That is not potato. Potato salad does not have apples in there. You can't convince me that that's some white people shit. That's white people shit.
I mean, I like it with or without. But when she uses the apples, I'm telling you, it's good.
Ma'am, that's comparable to putting raisins in there. I'm gonna ask you and your mother to exit now. Then y'all gotta go.
Are you sure it's not coleslaw?
No, I know what coleslaw.
You don't put apples in coleslaw. Coleslaw, apples don't go in there either, Kennard. And I'm gonna ask you to leave if that's what you're doing in your life.
I don't do. I don't know what? Coleslaw, but I've seen. Well,
I guess that's her little spin on it, you know. So
she can't spin like that. Yeah.
But but you know what? I guess if I was on the outside looking in, it would sound weird to me too. But I've grown up with it.
First of all, but you know, apples don't belong in a potato salad.
It's a potato salad.
Exactly.
In there. Potatoes.
Not a garden salad. Right.
I'm gonna remember that.
I'm not
I've
gonna eat
never
none
heard
of
of
your
that.
mama's potato salad with the apples in it because I don't want no apples in my potato salad.
But you know what? I think I had coleslaw with apples in it. I'm dead ass serious. I think I've had
Some people put like pineapples and stuff in it sometimes.
in what?
Coleslaw.
Yeah, I've seen that in the store like that. I have.
First of all,
Wow.
but usually when they do that, it's a fancy spin and it's used as some kind of dressing on like
That is
a sandwich or something.
Listen, this old school ass continental just went past. I'm talking about like Isaac Hayes continental.
Did you hear the song when it passed?
You're a chef.
No. The look
Walk on
of love is
by.
it.
Yeah.
That's what I was on. Yeah. From Dead Presidents. Remember when they was riding?
Yeah.
That music that was playing, that was that song.
Was it?
Yeah.
You sure that won't walk on by?
Dun, dun, dun,
Let's
dun.
walk on by.
No, it's not.
Yes, look it up.
I can sit. Okay. I'm finna look it up.
Let's walk on by.
No, it's not.
Yes, it is.
No, it's not.
I seen Dead Presidents too. Let's walk on by.
It's in there, but that's not it. Just hold on.
Okay.
Hold on.
Damn, you might be right. Yeah, you might be right. Shit.
Because Walk On By was played at the end of the movie. This was when him and Kirby was riding when they was going to make all them plans and shit.
Yeah, that might be Walk On By, yeah. I mean, not Walk On By, Look of Love. That might be, yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
You might be right.
I know my music name.
I vouch for that. I know a little bit about music too now. You know, I get down for the focus sound and everything. But Alicia, look, let me ask you this. Can you hear me? Oh, she got a mic on.
Yeah.
Okay. Look, it seems like it's a common thing where they do all this fucking shooting and all this shit during the holidays. Like it's ill will up in the building.
What's going on, man?
What's good?
Hey,
What's good, man?
Hey, what's going on,
What's
man?
going on, Will?
Hey, dude.
Jim, shoot, what's going on? What's going on, Joe?
I haven't seen you in a long time. Where you been? We had to get a search party for you.
Well, so first of all, I'm in Chicago, but I've had like my sister graduated. My sister, well, she went to prom. Then my nephew went to prom. Then she graduated. He's graduating Sunday. So I've been like.
I hear you. Me too. That's how I was last week. I was in Chicago too last week. For like a week and a half.
I'm still here.
I
like I know
to
I'm
tell
not
you
leaving
that your
till the 20th.
daughter, Will,
What'd
your
you say?
daughter was gorgeous.
She was. She
know,
was
man,
beautiful. She was beautiful.
Man. Instead of all
She
that
was
makeup
beautiful.
off and wipe off her face.
Don't. You the typical father.
You got that right, I am.
I know that.
I'm like, man, I don't know this dude. I need social security number, everything, man. Like you
Would
call
you like
me
a bad
that
boy?
night, not no money, not no morning. You call me that night when you get back from prom, not the next morning.
Right on.
Yeah, I don't know what's going on. No.
But see, that's a
I'm
father
still young. I
instinct.
don't need to be no granddad.
Right on.
That part.
Man,
Yeah, but I've been wore out. I'm tired. I've been tired. That's why I missed last week.
It's all good,
Just
bro.
traveling and stuff.
But you know, that's hey, life happens. You know what I'm saying? You know,
Yeah, I'm proud of it.
You know,
Hi.
but yeah, look, this is what I was gonna ask. At least, like I say.
Oh, okay.
You know.
Okay.
I wanted to talk about. You know, it's a couple of things going down. But like I say, the whole thing.
Mama, I just wanted to tell you, Alicia said apples don't go on potato salad, and that's
why
just
you gonna
her
start
word.
that shit?
Why you gonna start that shit? She said you ain't ate hers yet.
No,
It
I'm
might
not
be
eating no
good.
potatoes.
I'm
I'm not eating no potato salad with no apples in it. I don't care who make it.
But it's gonna have the same texture as a potato.
First of all, it's gonna be crunchy. That's first of all.
Potato
And it don't
No,
belong.
no.
I
But see,
know
it's
it don't
not.
belong
It's
in
just.
there.
It's not a lot. It's not a lot of apple in it. It's not a
It
lot.
don't
It's
belong in
just
there. The
enough
apple don't belong in there.
to
That's
kind
like
of
raisins.
have like a
That's like
little
Yeah,
sweetness
that's like
to
raisins,
using
it.
yeah.
that's like using raisins as a
No
topping on
raisins.
it.
No
Yeah.
raisins.
I
No
Yeah.
mean, it don't
raisins.
belong.
No raisins. No
I
I'm
raisins.
like
with
potato salad.
Kennard. It's potato salad.
I get it.
Right.
I'm with you. Alicia, I'm with you 100% on
Yeah,
that.
I'm with Kennard. Like, you know, it's potato
Yeah.
salad. It's supposed to be
I
potatoes
like
and then
potato
Right,
salad.
potatoes.
That's apple salad.
Well, she makes a good
Right,
look. She makes a
right.
good apple salad too.
Public school, so that's apple salad.
Public school.
Right. Tell your mom to stop renaming shit potato salad because that's not potato salad.
Oh, you know what? That's what I'm gonna ask her to make me. Apple walnut salad. That's good.
Apple who?
Oh, who?
Walnut
Now
salad.
that's good.
That's
That's good.
Yeah.
Now apples belong in there. Apple belong in that because it's an apple walnut salad. But potato salad is just
Just
potatoes.
plain old, right, potato salad. Yeah.
Potatoes, some eggs, some mustard, some Miracle
There you
Whip,
go.
some dill,
Man,
some
make sure it's
relish.
cold
You know,
too.
mix it all up real good
Oh
There you
and
go.
man,
put a little
sounds good.
paprika on it and put it in the fridge there.
There you
That's
go.
potato salad. Now
She
the
call it
apples,
Frigidaire.
And make some
Y'all
deviled
got.
egg.
You know
I ain't
what?
heard that in a long time.
You know what?
See
I'm gonna
that
tell you
Frigidaire.
something. I'm gonna tell you something, Alicia, and you just better listen. You got some childish ass taste buds. That's why.
See that? It's childish.
did you? I mean, yeah, man, I feel like she just slapped me. Like I don't even know how to defend myself from that. Like
Oh, we ain't
how
seen
you
Alicia. We ain't seen Alicia for a while now.
Yeah, man, how now?
how do you defend childish ass taste buds though? What you say to somebody call your taste buds childish as hell? I don't know what to do with that.
Oh man, that's crazy.
Oh shit.
So look, y'all, let's get to the show. This is what I'm talking about. At least I'm gonna ask you one more again. With all the violence going on, right? But like I say, I've been noticing, I know y'all been noticing, around the holidays, niggas be acting a fucking fool. Why is that? Why is it a thing like it's just like niggas go all out on
So I don't think it's synonymous with niggas, and I'm assuming we say niggas, we dealing with black folks, so we talking about just niggas in general.
we talking about niggas in general.
So I think the problem is what we said earlier. Like when you talk about holidays, you get a lot of drinking, you get a lot of partying, and you get a lot of drugs. And I don't, and even like people do it all every day, but during the holidays, you do it longer, just for longer periods of time. You might be able, like I've had relatives. I ain't talking to you, Uncle David. I've had relatives like get drunk and then they'll go to sleep and then they'll get back up and do it again. So, and then everybody that drinks and gets high, like even we ain't even talking about no hard drink, like smoke weed, people that drink, everybody's not a friendly, some people are not friendly when they get drunk. Some people are extra, some people don't know when to stop. So you have, and it's hot. So you got people
It gives people courage to confront people that they
That's
normally
true.
wouldn't.
I don't even think it's just like courage, but I think that you make an environment where people start to get irritated with you. Like even if you're not really being hostile, like if you got a drunk to just keep on fucking with folks and saying stuff they ain't supposed to, and it ain't even really intentionally to be hostile, but they just like, you have to go ahead on that, go on that. People playing cards, people drinking, over a certain amount of time, somebody gonna stand up from that table and slap shit out of them, and then that's where it gets started. And we've all been like, I love my family. I like my family outings like that. I remember growing up, like somebody was getting slapped, and it just was what it was. But I think that when you combine alcohol and those long lamps, and then you have people that don't know how to control their liquor. I think it's more so liquor than drugs. When people don't know how to control their liquor, then you're creating an environment where and then I may have a tolerance where I drink and I'm mellow, and I'm like, we all drink, we laugh, we hang out or whatever, we kick it.
Right.
But then if somebody came and interrupted our environment that was being an irritant, somebody from our group might get up and just hand them one because we told you to stop. We've asked you, or you're getting, because some people that get drunk, they get really familiar, or they get really too playful, or they say things that they shouldn't say, and then you have to check them. And so that's what I think it is. And I just think that you have a lot of people just like unaware of and I mean, even at our age, like I've seen people like they don't know when their limit is. They don't know when to stop.
Right,
They
they
don't
don't
know
know
when
when
to
to
say
stop.
when. Right. They
And
don't
then
know
you
when
try to
they've
take the
had
bottle
enough.
from them. You trying to cut them off from a drink, and that's when they get hostile.
Mm-hmm.
And then you
That's
add then you add the young people in it,
Mm-hmm.
and they don't know when to, like, you know how we grew up. It'd be a little slap box, a little fist fight, a little bit, and then everybody kind of calm down. Now everybody's like going straight to the trunk. Let me get the pistol.
Well, that's because we're not, but that's because we haven't taught them anything. We've sat them in front of the motherfucking TV, and so the TV has raised them, so they don't know about getting your ass fit. Like, man, you gonna survive an ass whooping. You'll be all right. Just get your ass back
Right,
out there, keep
right.
on fighting.
We don't
We
talk
have
about your next picnic.
right.
You know when we
We
get
ain't
around.
talked about that.
Right.
We real tired. We ain't talked about that yet because we let the TV and material things raise them. So we ain't talked about, like, even like I can't be a man. I can't show my son how to be a man. And like I've been very fortunate to have a father and brothers and cousins and men in my life, even my guy, like men in my life who, when I need advice on what to tell or not even advice, like if my son has issue, he can call them and they'll tell him from a man's point of view what it is. Don't necessarily, sometimes they tell me just shut the fuck up and don't say nothing afterwards because I'm gonna speak from a woman's point of view. But even with my daughter, listening to them from a man's point of view, like I have men in my life that I respect so much that when I'm having an issue that I really can't figure out, I'll take their advice. And you don't have that, like you don't have men that are willing to interject sometimes, and you don't have women willing to accept that advice, or no, you ain't gonna do that to my baby, or no, you ain't gonna do this, and this. And at the end of the day, like it's all to make, like you want well-rounded children. You want children that are able to stand up on their own and kind of deal with the world in a way that they understand that not everything is going to cause for violence. Not everything is going, sometimes you're going to get your ass whooped, sometimes you're going to whoop ass, but all of that means that you can come back another day and live. Like, ain't, it's all, we grow up, we was always told it's always somebody better than you. Always. So there's a chance that you might get your ass whooped. There's just, and there's nothing wrong with getting your ass whooped. Like, you can get your ass whooped and you just go back and fight them again. Eventually y'all gonna get tired and y'all gonna become friends. Or y'all gonna stop fighting and be like, damn, this nigga keep on coming over here. He tired of getting his ass whooped. No, I'm not tired of getting my ass whooped, but you tired of whooping my ass. So we just done. But we haven't taught our children. Like, even when we talk about like these bullshit ass awards, like you don't get an award for participation. You get an award for coming in first, second, third place. If you didn't come none of that, you don't get an award. You don't get accolades for fucking showing up. And we're right. And so we have taught our children who are now having children mediocrity. Right. And so that's where all this is stemming from. We have taught them mediocrity, and so they don't know, they don't deal well with, and this black, white, all of them, they don't deal well with no, they don't deal well with rejection, they don't deal well with struggle, they don't know how to deal with discomfort. Anything that makes them just uncomfortable, they'll be like, well, fuck it, I quit. And I had to tell my kids, my daughter this, not my son, but my daughter, I was like, hey man, there's a lot of things in life that I have done that was uncomfortable to me, because I had to provide, I had to take care of, I had things to do. So I did things that weren't comfortable. I worked with people that weren't comfortable. I was in uncomfortable situations. I worked 2 jobs, for 16 hours a day for years. Like, that ain't nothing I want to do, but I had some things that I need to get, and I had to take care of you all. So they don't understand that. They just think that when it's not working for them and when it's uncomfortable, they can just say fuck it. And we did that to them.
Yeah, because I think a lot of the kids they're spoiled, and they're they've gotten
entitlement.
Right. They have a false sense of entitlement. They're so used to a certain way of living. See, they don't know what it takes for the parent to be able to get them the new pair of shoes or that new outfit, or they take for granted the stuff that, my mother would always say toilet paper or soap. You reach over to wipe your ass. You looking for toilet paper. It ain't none there. She would say that type of shit.
The whole damn roll.
Right. You know what I'm saying? She would say that
one
type
white.
of shit.
Right.
I was no different, because you expect something to be there because you're so accustomed to that, but that's not the real world. I mean, these kids, they think they know, but they don't know. You know, and they're not really gonna know until they come from up under mom and pop's roof and get out in the world and see for themselves. And then it'll all come full circle. They can understand what it really is out here. You know what I'm
That's
saying?
true.
So you know, I had to learn too because I was no different. You know, I was the same way, but I had to come up out of that shit, and I learned to have a greater appreciation for them once I became an adult. Once I was paying the rent or the mortgage or the car note and all this other shit, then I started
Trust me.
seeing it. You know what I'm saying? Like, yo, like they was
This
telling
My
me
shit is
daughter
in
came
hard.
high
back.
school.
My daughter came back and apologized to me after living on her own for a little while. She was like, now I see. She said, now I see why you used to raise hell when the dishes wasn't washed.
Word
Now
up.
I see why you used to raise hell when all the lights was on. You know, they have to. They have to have that experience.
Hey,
Right.
my son's house, when I go over to his house, these boys, all his lights be out. I'm like, dude, what? Mama, lights cost me. I know
Yeah.
lights cost money, but apparently y'all didn't know that. The basement lights be on, first floor lights be on, the upstairs lights be like everybody lights be on, TVs be on.
Right.
And nobody, I'm paying the bill. So it is definitely different. But I think it goes deeper than that because we're not teaching them that those things have value. Like we're not teaching them, like we just cut off the light. Nick, let me show you like what I did with my kids, which I found really, my children, what I found really effective was pulling out the bills and showing them
Yeah. That's how I
what
got
their
taught
monthly
too.
bills
Yeah. How it
like
looks.
what they look like and why you spend it, you know, when you leave a light on and when you got that stove on and when you run in the
Yeah.
washing machine
That gas
every
bill,
all
that
day, like
water
this
bill.
is what it looks like. Yeah, this is
Yeah.
what it look like. And
Looks
when you
like.
don't, if you don't pay them, you ain't gonna have no, you gonna be short.
Mm-hmm.
That,
Then they're gonna
that
be
is the
wondering, well,
truth.
why the lights ain't on? Why this ain't happening or why that ain't happening? Well, the reality is everything costs. And
Yeah.
the adults are well aware of that. The kids don't know that. So it's not a bad idea to, you know, hey, look, this is what it is. You know
Show it
what I
to
mean?
them.
Show it to them. You can see it firsthand. You know, that was not the way it was taught to me, but I had to get out there and see on my own. Like every bill is coming in your name. Your name is on light, fucking water,
Water,
phone.
gas.
You gotta go get groceries and shit now. You
Yeah.
gotta go get toilet paper. You gotta get soap, deodorant.
I
You
tell
name
my
it.
kids, my little kids, the same thing. When they go in the store, look at those prices.
Straight
Take
up.
your phone out. Since they love that phone, open up that calculator, start adding.
Mm-hmm.
And
Mm-hmm.
then
It
add that
costs this
9%
much. That
tax.
ain't funny no more.
No, it's not.
Right.
It
It's
ain't
not.
funny
It's
no
not.
more.
It's not. My son now
Seriously.
he complains about the cost of but gas. Like every time I talk to him, he's fussing about gas prices. I'm like, dude, I've been here
Been
already.
telling you for years.
I've been here
Like
already.
I've been
Like
telling you that for years.
right, where you been? But it's different when you pay for
Like
it. When
right.
you pay for it on your own, like dude, he be like, you know how food is? Yes, yeah, absolutely. I absolutely know why y'all eating like locusts in the house. I know.
Right.
But we don't talk to them about those. We don't talk to them about like the we don't talk to them about, and I don't want to, because I think our kids have a good idea of like money management, saving wise, but they don't have we're not giving them the capacity to understand that you
Connecting the
can't just
dots.
quit shit because it
That's
don't
Yeah.
feel good to you.
Connecting
that's
the
what I
You
was
dots
can't
gonna
just
to
decide
say.
Right. But
that
see,
ain't what
yeah,
you want to
connecting the
do, and
dots
then
to
you
where
don't
their
do it.
money come from, to
right.
where it goes out to where you have your necessities and to your wants, and
Right.
start connecting those dots to them so they can
Yeah,
understand. Like,
yeah.
hey, these are your necessities. These go first. What's
Mm-hmm.
But not
left
only
out
that,
of
but
that?
being uncomfortable is a part of life. Like nobody
Right.
is, I don't care how much money you have, nobody is always ever comfortable.
At all.
Everybody has discomfort. And
Right.
and with this generation, we haven't taught them that, man, like this kind, like you can be uncomfortable. You're gonna survive being uncomfortable. And that's part of growing up.
I
Yep.
always say, sometimes in giving our kids what we didn't have, they don't have what we have.
I agree.
Yeah.
I agree.
I agree with that.
Yeah, you got a good point.
Definitely that.
Because
We try to empathize, and so things were hard for us, so we don't want them as hard for our kids, but that also takes away that ambition to go out there and try to get it too.
Right.
Yeah, I think you have to have a balance. Like
You have to have a
we have to
balance
understand
with
that
it.
there's a balance for, like, you definitely, like, and I ain't gonna say like I had plenty of shit. Like, I went to private school most of my life. I got put out of private school a couple times too, but went to all girls private
Yeah, you
high
probably
school.
was out there
Like,
fighting.
yeah.
For the God.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
was,
they see you out there. You belong
let's
to
be clear though.
CPS with the rest of
Let
us.
me be clear. Let me be clear though. I never started to fight. I never started to fight. I only fought folks that bothered me, and what the disservice that my mother did, and a lot of parents did that, and they did it because they thought it was a good idea, but placing me in places and spaces where people didn't look like me. So, as I got older, like in grammar school, like I was just bad as shit. Like I was just, and I had a bunch of brothers and a bunch of cousins. So what they was doing, I was with the shit. So, but in high school, I was a young Black girl in a school full of people that did not look like me.
Oh yeah.
And so I had Napoleon Complex too. So I'm gonna throw that out there to be perfectly transparent.
I knew
so
you was like 4'11".
I ain't 4'11". I'm 5'1", but 5'2.5" in heels probably. But that's neither here nor there. But I do have a Napoleon complex, so I always, and again, I have a bunch of brothers and male cousins, so I was always, like, growing up, I fought. So I knew that I had a short reach. So my thing was always, when I did fight, my thing always was,
in the knees.
If somebody, no, I punch him, but my thing was, if I thought that somebody, because I never started a fight, like really, I never picked on anybody, but if I thought that somebody was coming up on me or getting ready to aggress me, I always hit them first, because I knew that I was short. Like I'm probably was like 5 feet then, and I'm weighing like 100 pounds. If they get a hold to me, they reach as longer than mine. So I always hit them first. Like I never gave anybody a chance to like walk up on me and hit me. If I thought that you looked like you wanted to be with the shits, I walked up and hit you. And I usually ended up in trouble. Like my mother was always coming to get me out of school. I get suspended and go back for 2 days and be suspended. I know my mother hated me. But what she didn't understand was that being in those situations and those spaces, sometimes, like I would get into it with the nuns, because the nuns wouldn't call me by my name. They would call me, hey, you. And back then, you couldn't argue with an adult. You couldn't tell on an adult because the adult was always right. So I found myself, and I'm stubborn and I'm bullheaded, and I didn't care about consequences. So I get my ass whooped, but I'll go back to school and do the same thing, because to me, it was not just to me, it was just very disrespectful. But we put our children in these spaces, and we don't consider the things that, like, I remember sending my son, because, we're military kids. They're military kids. So I remember moving to Schaumburg one year, and my son went to Schaumburg, and he never told me the year he was there until after he left. And he told me how they would call him niggas and shit, and that shit infuriated me. Right. And so you're talking about somebody whose parents have served this country, who have been all over the world, who've experienced all kinds of things, to be back at home and to be called a nigga by some garbage ass white boys, that bothered me. And that made me want to pull him out of that school. Like I said, I would never subject my children to that kind of shit again, because he felt like he couldn't tell me that because it was a good school. He couldn't tell me that because that's where you're supposed to make it. That's where you're supposed to. So he was willing to endure that because he felt like that was a good school and he didn't want to disappoint me. And that, like he told me when he first got there, the coach was like, yeah, you can play football, track. My son don't play no fucking sports. None. But again, we're putting our children in these situations and these places where we're putting our children in places that they're being subjected to this. So I think that we were done a disservice by that. But we have done our children disservice because our parents made us tough. Like we did a lot of shit. Like being latchkey kids was normal. Like I remember coming home in kindergarten with my cousin, sitting on the porch, waiting for somebody to open the door so I can go in the house and lock myself back in there till my mom got home. And you did that. We made it home without needing a fucking cell phone. You beat your mama to that house when she called
Yep.
that phone, you was in the house.
You in the house, yeah.
No bullshit,
Yeah.
no lie. You was
Yeah,
in that
I had
house.
to do that too. Yep.
You was in that house, and
that
she didn't.
rotary phone.
Yeah,
And you better not let it ring it twice.
that's right. But we made it in,
Yep.
so we
Yeah, you better
we
not let
turned our
that
kids
phone
into
ring
punks.
twice, boy.
We turned
I
out to
remember
kids
that.
fun because you can't now kid they need a cell phone. What the fuck for? We didn't have no cell
Your
phone.
cell phones. Nope.
We didn't have no
And you know how
cell.
many
We
pay
had to
phones
get
we
dinner
walked by?
started.
You know how many pay phones we walked by?
Yeah.
My mama said, you better not let that phone
Yeah.
ring, not one time. I don't care nothing about
Man,
no
look, pay phone.
nobody else's phone.
You had
Her
to
phone,
start
she pays
dinner. You had to
bills.
take some meat out. You take some
Yep.
meat out. You had
Yeah,
to, you know,
yeah.
you had things
Run
to
that
do in order
cold
to help
water
the
on them
household run.
chickens. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
We didn't give our children any of that kind of responsibility, so they just fucking. And then we talk about how lazy they are, but we ain't made them do shit. So
Yeah, it's
why?
true.
Why you expect them at 26 to be productive when you ain't required them to do nothing all the
Because it
time?
just don't turn on. I always
Sure
say
don't.
that about work. It just don't turn on. You gotta be trained to work. You gotta learn how to work.
Well, see,
You
that's
just don't wake up one day being born and then just I'm a grown man or woman. I'm just gonna work. It don't work like that.
But I think it's more than work though, because you don't like. I don't want my kids just to work, but I want them to
Right.
understand the
No,
things that
I'm just saying,
you want.
understanding how to. Yeah, understanding
Yeah,
how to
yeah,
work.
the things you want,
Yeah.
are gonna come with some sacrifices, and you're gonna have to be uncomfortable in some of the shit you do, and that's part of life.
Yeah.
And that's what I don't get about them. Like they do not like being uncomfortable. Like my
That's
daughter has
true.
literally quit like 6 jobs in 2 months for just no reason. She just say, well, they took too long to answer, or she didn't like that. And I'm like, dude, you got rent to pay. We about to buy you a new car. Like, what kind of part of the game is this? But I also know that she knows that wherever she lacking, I'm gonna pick up. And so, even like now, I'm having to kind of wean her off of that because you can't be grown and be a child too. Like you got to pick a struggle. And if you don't want to be grown, then you can't do grown people shit.
they want it both ways. I mean, they, at this stage, these kids, they grow up and they spoiled and entitled, and they get into the 18s and the 19s and the 20s, and they still have a mentality. They really out of tune with what's going on out here. And so motherfuckers lash out when they don't get their way. That's where a lot of this violence comes from. A lot of this,
Yep.
because it's no coincidence that guns are cheap on the street and they're easy to get. And then if you got a motherfucker here that's spoiled and they've been getting their way all the time and all this, and they go out in the world and a motherfucker don't want to give them what they want, well, they got a gun.
Just take it. They can just take it.
Right. That's how that goes.
Just take it.
There's your carjackers right there.
Yep. I don't want to walk over there.
I don't think it's just. I think it's more than just carjack. I think it's the carjacker. You talk about the like even the little white boys that shoot up the grocery store. Like it's the fact that you're so fucking involved in yourself that you feel like you don't even have to tolerate somebody else's presence. Like you don't have to be bothered with somebody's presence. And so when you feel like you don't want to be bothered with them anymore, you can just go exterminate them and it's okay. Like it's not anything to think about.
That's crazy. What was the other kid in Texas? Was he a white boy too?
No, he was Mexican.
Wow. That's shocking.
Salvador Ramos.
That's shocking.
Yeah, we did the show on him last week. This kid here was 18, and apparently he was pissed off because he didn't graduate. Now, what I'm saying is,
what you mean he mean like something he failed a class or something and just didn't graduate?
I don't know the details, but it had to be something along the lines. But he was mad because he didn't graduate high school. So then now you 18, you go up to a bunch of children, like 10-year-olds.
Yeah, they were young.
They was young. He was like.
So you ain't even go to a high school.
No, because
you went to elementary school.
That's a bitch move. And see, that's what wow. It's a lot of motherfuckers. Bullying ain't never went nowhere. It's always been motherfuckers that will bully people that can't fight back. Because to me, it's just like the nigga that drove all the way up to Buffalo. Okay, now you drove past Brooklyn, you drove past the Bronx, Queens, all them other places where niggas is at. You ain't shooting none of them because you knew they would have shot back. Instead, you go over there to where you go to a grocery store where it's a bunch of old people at, and you shoot them up. That's a bitch move. Now, if you really wanted drama, take your ass over to where niggas is at. Now, if dudes sit up there and plotted out this grocery store in New York and knew the demographics and all that other shit, you could have just easily did the same thing in Queens or one of them places where niggas be out there every fucking day. And
on the outside of the store.
Right. But see, a lot of these niggas, they all be these mass shooter motherfuckers, they be bitches like on the real, like, cause they won't go somewhere where motherfucker fire back. They gonna go somewhere where these motherfuckers ain't got no defense. None whatsoever. And I'm gonna go ride on them and then feel good about myself after the fact. See, that's some punk shit right there, man. Cause I'm like, nigga, look, to me, I'm not one for motherfuckers doing themselves in, but I would rather you did that than to go and take the lives of children who didn't even get a chance to make it to your age. You got to see 18 years of life. You was a fuck up. You can look at him and tell you wasn't getting no pussy. He ain't had no girlfriend. You was one of these niggas that was just a shit bird that he wasn't staying with his mother. He was staying with his grandmother. So far as I'm concerned, his parents wasn't shit. So now you over there with your grandmother. She too old to keep up with your stupid ass. So you up in there probably telling her what to do and all this, and I ain't gonna do that. I spoiled motherfucker. That's what that is.
Wow.
This nigga had two.
I didn't know he was Spanish.
Yeah, he was a Mexican kid.
That's crazy.
And shot up a school full of Mexican kids.
Wow.
That's what he did. And see, because you mad, something that minor. Nigga, you could have got you a GED. Nigga,
yeah, he could have graduated. He act like he's 60 years old.
Right. And see, that's what I'm saying. Like
18? Yeah.
Ed, what you think about
I mean,
this?
that's what Alicia said. They just when they discomfort, because you got to be uncomfortable to go back to get your GED.
Exactly.
So he don't want to be discomfort. Oh, let me just take my discomfort out on everybody else.
But that don't change your situation. You still
At all.
You a stupid motherfucker with no high school diploma.
True.
Because your
Right.
life and ass didn't do what you had to do to get your high school diploma. It ain't nobody fault but yours. But since you don't know how to deal with shit because you wasn't taught, your go-to is to go get 2 AR-15s and go shoot up a school of kids. What the fuck? See, that's what I'm saying. Dude, well, he's dead, and I always deaf on nobody. But a nigga like that, he right where he need to be. Because
that's true.
You killed children, innocent children who posed no threat to you whatsoever because of personal.
Didn't he kill a teacher too?
I'm not 100% certain on that. And,
and the school he went to wasn't even a school he attended.
That make it even worse. It's like, what the fuck, man?
Like that don't make sense.
Go to the hood. Go to the hood and try that shit. Cause you too much. See, that's what I be saying. That's all. Like I don't respect a lot of these motherfuckers, man. Cause they ain't got.
I totally agree with you, man.
They ain't got
it don't make any sense. No morals.
And
then they take the cowardly way out.
Right.
All the time.
And because you mad and I got a gun, I want attention.
Now, or even when I look at carjackings, this don't make no sense to me. I was just thinking about this the other day. So you're gonna carjack someone that's actually working for a living to provide for themselves and take their car. But the drug dealer that rides up and down your block, they legally got that car, you won't touch him. That doesn't even make any sense. That's so cowardly.
Because they don't want a fair fight. They want to go and catch a motherfucker lacking, as they call it.
How many drug dealers you have seen just ride up and down the street?
But drug dealers keep guns with them. So now you got to worry about
shit. No. They gotta park that motherfucker, go inside.
You might get shot. You don't want to get shot.
Yeah, that's true. You're right.
So they don't come to like that lady that worked for WGN. This lady worked for WGN and
No.
posted to nobody. And they came up on both sides of her, 2 fucking niggas, and shot this lady up over the damn car. Unfucking believable. And she was on the horn with the baby daddy at the time. Like right when that was happening, she was on the horn with him. This lady come from work. She just going to get gas in a black neighborhood around black people. And black people came up and shot her up and took her fucking car. That's wrong. Why was there no protest for that? Where the fuck was people marching for that?
Being crunk.
Stand up for her. They didn't tear down the fucking west side or the south side for her. That's wrong.
Where Ben Crump at? Your
Yeah,
boy.
where his whole ass at? Right. He wasn't nowhere on the